These days, the cultivation world's gone wild for the Heartless Way. 9 out of 10 cultivators swing a sword, and 8 of those are chasing this frosty philosophy. Problem is, whether they've annoyed the heavens or just have rotten luck, not one has truly nailed it. Evan Stone was one of them. Born with a heart colder than a winter storm, he breezed through Heartless Way training. That is, until he slammed into a wall, trying to ascend to the upper realm. Evan's easy streak wasn't because he'd mastered love. He just had no clue what it was. Stuck at the great mastery stage for centuries, Evan finally caved to his junior brother's pitch. Face a love trial. Heartless Way folks do this, Nate Song said. Head to the mortal world, tie the knot, then wham, run a sword through your sweetie. Boom, you're ascending. Nate, a fortune-telling pro, read Evan's first trial. He frowned, double-checked, and sighed. Bad trial's gonna tank. Evan shrugged. One flop, try again. He sealed his powers, kept his memories, and dove into the mortal world. Love trials often crash and burn in the cultivation world. Nate worried for his brother. They say the Heartless Way is meant to break. Show him how it's done, Evan. Be the iciest of them all. Evan gave a blank nod, then jumped into the wheel of rebirth. Next thing he knew, he was a kid left at the gates of Willow Creek Temple. The head monk scooped him up, shaved his head, and raised him. Surprise, Evan had a gift for Buddhist vibes. Now about his trial partner. With Heartless Way cultivators everywhere, love trials were messing up mortal luck. To keep the heavens chill, partners now came from the cultivation world. For the right price, someone's always down to die once down below. The cultivation world had a trial agency for this. Nate swung by for Evan, hitting up the boss, Miles Reed, to snag the perfect match. Nate had done his research, grilling seniors for tips. Best fit for a frosty Heartless Way guy, someone sunny, chatty, and totally smitten. Only that could melt a frozen heart. Hook my brother up with the bubbliest dude you've got, Nate said, no nonsense. Miles shook his head. Fresh out. What? How? Nate dangled a deal. I'll read your brother's trial fate. Miles's brother, Dylan Reed, was another Heartless Way cultivator. Nate's offer tempted Miles, but he came clean. All the sunny, lovesick types are married. Heartless Way folks who fell in love during trials often couldn't ascend after offing their partner. Some lost their edge, switched paths, or went off the rails, but they always did one thing back home: chased their trial partner and got hitched for good. At Miles's agency, every registered partner was taken. So many couples had sparked here, it was practically a dating service. Nate groaned. Okay, someone sweet then? Also married, Miles said, wincing. Too many Heartless Way guys. Nate's glare could have frozen a lake. Miles scrambled. But everyone grabs bubbly or gentle types and still bombs. Why not switch it up? Since Nate's reading screamed failure anyway, he rolled the dice. Like what? Miles, looking shady, said, My brother Dylan's up for a trial. Pair them? 2 Heartless Way dudes? He's the only one free. Nate pictured Evan and Dylan's icy attitudes clashing. No shock this trial was doomed. Fine, whatever. Unlike Evan, who just sealed his powers, Dylan locked his memories too, going full mortal. He was reborn as the 3rd prince of the Song Kingdom, same as Evan's Willow Creek. Knowing it'd flop, Nate and Miles still watched their brother's trial. Cultivators fight fate, and they secretly hoped for a win. The guys met when Dylan tagged along with the Emperor to Willow Creek Temple for blessings. Nate, invisible and floating, pointed. Yo, Evan, that's your guy. Evan glanced over. Dylan stood under a giant Bodhi tree, eyeing red prayer ribbons swaying with wishes. A gust rattled the wooden plaques, clinking in the sunset's glow. A former cultivator turned prince, Dylan was a total knockout. Just standing there, he made the scene pop like a movie still. Evan was soaking in the view when Nate's voice cut through. Bro, fall for him, then take him out. How do I fall in love? Love was Greek to Heartless Way folks. Nate, barely getting it himself, yanked a picture book from his cosmic sleeve and flipped it open. Just be nice. What's nice? Evan was clueless. After a beat, he grabbed a blank plaque, ink, and brush from the temple porch. His plain monk robes flapped in the wind. Face like stone, he climbed the steps to Dylan and held out the stuff. Silent by habit, Evan didn't bow or talk, just stood there, blank. Dylan raised a brow, then took the brush and plaque. No, thanks, no small talk. Not even a who's this guy? They stared at each other, both rocking the same poker face. Nate facepalmed. With this frosty vibe, they'd sooner turn to ice than spark. Dylan flicked some ribbons, scanning wishes. Wealth, fame, the usual. Not sure what to wish for, he paused, then wrote his name. As he eyed a branch to hang it, Evan swiped the plaque. I got it, Evan said, deadpan. The gray-robed monk scaled the tree like a ninja, hanging the plaque high. In a flash, he was back, looking like he hadn't budged. Young, but with weirdly calm eyes, Evan seemed too serene for his age. Name? Dylan finally asked. They swapped names, then went quiet. Neither cared. Silence was their jam. Dylan read more wishes. Evan just stared at him. Night fell, and a palace servant grabbed Dylan. He clasped his hands behind his back. I'm out, Evan grunted. Nate, hovering, was stunned. That's it? A grunt? How's this love? No trial. A prince and a monk, probably a one-time meet, and they barely spoke. Nate glared, expecting zero chemistry. Total bust. He gave up. The heavens called it dead on arrival. But Dylan threw a curveball. Frosty as he was, he kept popping up at the temple. He'd played chess with Evan or fish by the lake. Whenever he had a spare hour, he'd chill at Willow Creek Temple, saying little, mostly sitting quietly. Nate's tiny hope got squashed. 2 Heartless Way guys catching feelings? Yeah, right. Early autumn sun blazed. They fished in a lakeside pavilion. It's shady and cool. Nate floated, watching their reflections creep closer on the water. A fish splashed, breaking the image. Nate flipped upside down and gasped. Evan was kissing Dylan. What the heck? Nate was floored. They're kissing already? He and Miles had tailed them for days. They spoke fewer words than you could count on your fingers. Miles was just as lost. Secret magic chat? Nope. Trial rules blocked all powers. No magic here. So how, with barely a sentence, did they lock lips? Nate grilled Evan later. His brother stayed frosty, heartless way to the bone, though his posture was a smidge prouder. He's into me, so he kissed me, Evan said. Nate was all for it, pumped even. That's my guy. No words, and he's hooked. Don't dodge him. Fall hard, take him out, and you're golden. Evan said. Master Fogg's got a potion, Silk Dew, I think. Grab me a vial. Evan had caught wind of it from female cultivators. It made skin buttery smooth. For what? Nate checked for wounds. Nada. Evan didn't spill, just said he needed it. Nate, used to his brother's tight lips, gave some tips and zipped to the cultivation world for it. With Nate gone, it was just Evan and fading lotuses by the quiet lake. He touched his lips, thinking of Dylan's flushed eyes after their hot kiss. Not soft enough, Dylan had said, grading their first smooch. Autumn passed, and frost hit Willow Creek Temple early. Evan was stuck guarding the donation box that bundled in a padded monk robe. He stood in the wind, a big incense burner swirling smoke around his cool, distant eyes. Dylan dropped a 500-tael banknote in the box, getting a flat Amitabha in return. He stared. Evan stared back, no vibe at all. Dylan let out a soft, huh. Evan's eyes flickered, puzzled. You don't fit by a donation box, Dylan said. He pulled Evan away. A monk this bad at charm wouldn't rake in cash, even freezing out there. The stone path of the temple was icy. Worried Dylan might slip, Evan stuck out his arm. Dylan glanced, did nothing. Evan froze, staring at his elbow. Dylan got it and grabbed his arm. They steadied each other to a hillside pavilion and sat. Wind whipped through the open structure, but the walk warmed them up. After a bit, Dylan plopped a thick gray hat on Evan's bald head. Knowing Evan's monk status, he skipped fur, stuffing it with fluffy spirit cotton, cozy and white. The hat, like Evan's robe, was warm but clunky. Good thing Evan's sharp jaw and tall frame pulled it off. Dylan gave him a once-over and nodded. Your other winter gear's in your room. Wear it. Evan grunted. Dylan's chill vibe met someone chillier, but he didn't mind. A gift deserved something back, so he leaned up and planted a kiss on Evan. Colder than before, but softer, with a slick, silky feel. Both kisses were Dylan's move. Evan didn't flinch, hand on Dylan's waist. His calm eyes gave nothing away. Love, hate, or just meh? Dylan didn't overthink it. He felt nuts for the first spark in ages. Even if Evan wasn't jazzed, even if he was a monk, Dylan wanted to fight for him. Only this monk brought a flicker of joy. Their lips parted, pink and shiny, faces blank like they just sipped tea. Dylan couldn't linger. Prince stuff beckoned. But this time, he left with a bit more. Way better than last time. Yo, you in love yet? Hurry up and take him out, Nate pressed, seeing them get tight. Miles says Dylan's planning to marry you. That hat? He stitched it himself. A prince sewing a hat to wed a dude. A monk, no less? That's love. If Dylan fell first and killed Evan to ascend, game over. We're here for your trial, not his, Nate begged. Evan, you love him? Nah, Evan said, stone cold. But he lingered on the marriage bit, muttering, sounds like a pain. He held the gray hat, its messy stitches weirdly cute. He'll take you out and ascend. No more pain, Nate said. Evan's Heartless Way mask didn't crack. He said. Nate rolled his eyes. If love was this easy, it wouldn't be the Heartless Way. Evan was just too icy. As Nate turned to bounce, Evan's eyes showed a rare flicker of awkwardness. Grab another vial of silk dew. The last one got kissed off. While Nate hunted the potion, Willow Creek buzzed with prep for a crazy but epic wedding. The third prince was marrying a monk, full-on, legit ceremony. Word was the emperor lost it, chucking a teacup at Dylan's forehead. Dylan knelt 3 days, no food or water, trading war winds for a marriage decree. The monk, from nobles to street hawkers, everyone pegged Evan as a heartbreaker, maybe a demon monk out to tank the kingdom. Evan! Nate rushed back with the potion. Evan snatched it, dabbing it on his lips. Nate was too panicked to care. Dylan's head over heels. Heartless Way folks kill their love on the wedding night. Strike first! He whipped out a dagger and slapped it on the table. You don't love him, but better you than him. After Nate's split, Evan ignored the dagger. Palace maids dressed him in red wedding robes and he hopped into a crimson sedan chair. Whispers flew. Dylan's nuts. Evan's trouble. Evan stayed blank. Even in the bridal suite, he was silent, eyeing a faint scar on Dylan's forehead, subtle unless you looked close. Maids brought wine for the toast. Evan pushed down a weird chest pang, linked arms with Dylan, and chugged the cold wine, its heat searing his throat. Dylan sent the maids packing. Alone, he leaned on the bed, hand sneaking behind a pillow, fumbling for something. Nervous or shady, he wasn't smooth. His pale, fancy hand popped against the red pillow. Heartless Way folks love a wedding night kill. Evan stayed quiet, smirking inside. Dylan's clumsy moves didn't scream ice-cold killer. Dylan stopped, then tugged open his robe, baring his chest, offering himself. You're proud and frosty. Bet you don't want to be under anyone. So I'll take it. He didn't say the rest, but his eyes screamed surrender. Evan's throat tightened, eyes darkening. He kissed Dylan, fierce and wild, tongues clashing in a fiery tangle, shredding their cool fronts. His calloused fingers, used to prayer beads, fumbled Dylan's belt, lingering on soft fabric before ripping it. The tear rang out. Dylan ducked the kiss barrage, pulling a book from under the pillow. Blushing, his shaky hand held it up. You know this? Study. First. The book's spicy drawings screamed romance. Evan chucked it. I got this. Dylan let out a soft gasp. The night hummed with steamy sounds. Next morning, Nate showed up to collect Evan. Before he could talk, Evan cut in. Get me scar cream from Master Fog, top shelf, pay from my stash. Nate. Flying off, he grumbled, I'm just the potion guy now. Evan, when'll you love him? Nate whined, done pushing for murder. He felt for Dylan's devotion. He's crazy for you. Became emperor and only wants you. 3 years back, the old emperor kicked it. Dylan took the throne, Ace keeping his harem empty for Evan. No matter how slammed, he ate with him every night. After ditching monk life, Evan stayed vegetarian. Dylan, whipped, went veggie too. Never slipping once since their wedding. Not telling me to kill him anymore? Evan tossed Nate a cloth for his tears. No point, Nate sniffled. Miles cracked why Heartless Way folks can't ascend. Too many cultivators, not enough resources, and ascension slots are tight. The heavens saw Heartless Way folks as cold-hearted, no use to the world. Better they stay mortal and fall hard. The Heartless Way's tricks made cultivators suckers for love. Basically, they're romantics at heart. Except Evan. Even with Dylan's all in love, he didn't budge. Nate wanted to bawl. When would Dylan thaw Evan's steel heart and claim his win? Most Song Kingdom folks agreed. Their emperor fought to marry Evan, spoiling him rotten. A sharp, heroic ruler, his only goof was picking a monk for queen. Yet Evan stayed icy. Even when Dylan gifted rare Eastie's pearls, he didn't smile. Tons of folks pitied Dylan. Some schemed to steal Evan's spot. If a monk could climb to royalty, why not them? Charm the emperor and they'd be golden. Evan lost track of how many nobles flirted with Dylan. Dylan kept it from bugging Evan, tossing offenders in jail for days, demoting their kin. Trash talk, straight to exile. It didn't stop them. Since Evan became queen, suitors kept coming. Monks, priests, all chasing Dylan's vibe. Evan barely blinked. Nate, though, was pissed. These shameless punks hitting on a married guy. I'm beating them up tonight, Nate fumed. Do it, Evan said. Nate, sleeves up, froze. He was joking. A high-level cultivator couldn't smack mortals. But Evan, cool as ever, nodded. Hit him hard. Don't kill. The Emperor visited a sick minister. Streets buzzed with folks lining up for Baker Sam's red bean cakes. A young eunuch grabbed some, tried one, and grinned. Solid. Get some for the queen. The eunuch bowed, used to it. Their emperor was like that, saw something cool, sent it to the queen. Food, gadgets, anything dope went her way. The eunuch brought the cakes to the palace. Evan took a bite, saying zip. The eunuch wondered if he ever smiled. He'd served years, never saw it. Emperor and queen were icebergs made for each other. His Majesty back? Evan asked, voice sharp as frost. The eunuch knelt. Don't know, Your Grace. Evan waved him off. Late night, as palace gates nearly shut, Dylan hustled back. He beelined to Evan's room where a lamp still glowed. Evan read, waiting. After a bath, Dylan hit the bed, back sore. Evan rubbed it. In the cozy quilts, Dylan dozed, arms around Evan, brushing his bald head. Long hair would make you hotter, he conked out. Evan tucked the silk quilt over him. He said softly. Nate dropped off more silk dew. Since he quit pushing for murder, he'd ask if Evan loved Dylan. Evan didn't deny it outright anymore, but never fessed up. Bro, you really don't love him. You're in bed every night. Nate cut off under Evan's icy stare. Evan fingered a shiny dagger. You saw. Nate gulped, chilled. Didn't see. Heard. The dagger slid into its sheath with a screech. Evan held out his hand. No listening. Deal, Nate said, dying to know. So you love him or not? Evan blanked him, hand out. Potion. Nate handed it over, ready to jet, but Evan stopped him. But face blank, he paused, then mumbled, grow my hair. Nate blinked. You nuts? They already call you a demon monk. Hair growing overnight? They'll torch you. Dylan would lose it. Evan went quiet, then held up a finger. One night. That night, Dylan found his queen with hair to his waist. Floored, he touched the silky strands. Evan hesitated. Just for tonight. Savor it. Seeing Dylan's blank, stunned face, he added, if you want, I'll keep it. Mortal days zipped by. Maybe Dylan's health was shaky, but he died young. Before going, he named a successor who revered Evan, exiling any who dissed him. Though Dylan would bounce back to the cultivation world, Nate sobbed, saying Dylan dodged Evan, ashamed of his frail look. Nate, cloaked, snuck Evan into Dylan's room. The Emperor, worn from ruling, spent his last breaths on the kingdom. Pale, he read his will to ministers and the new emperor gripping Evan's prayer beads. He called the new emperor close. His dying dad had warned, Evan might be a demon monk, bad for the realm. Don't hurt him, but don't spoil him for the kingdom. Dylan agreed, but wanted to make it right. My only regret's my queen, he said. I held back, scared spoiling her would hurt the people. After I'm gone, look out for her. The new emperor choked up. Ministers cried, but some were like, really? Dylan kept his harem empty, went veggie for 20 years, defied everyone for Evan, yet called it holding back. He practically worshipped her. What more could he do? A eunuch's wail. The emperor's gone. Set off palace sobs. Another eunuch stumbled in. The queen mother followed him. Nate bawled as they were buried together. Back at the sect, he saw Evan's cold face. Anyone come while I was meditating? Evan's heart was all about the Great Way. Post-trial, he meditated ASAP. Nate's mouth twitched. You meditated for half an hour, flying from the trial agency to Sky Peak takes 2. Chill. Evan sighed. Cool. He cleaned out his vault, crammed a dozen storage rings, and flew to the trial agency. Halfway, he bumped into Dylan, heading to Sky Peak. You. Dylan started, dazed. Evan grabbed his hands, slipping a ring on each finger. Leftovers? Strung on a chain and hung around Dylan's neck. Evan nodded, smug. Dowry. Marry me. Epilogue. Nate got a new disciple, a total prodigy. Picking her path, she eyed the Heartless Way and asked Nate's take. Nate thought of Evan, Dylan, and a ton of Heartless Way flops. He gave it to her straight. Don't touch it. Run.